A minor cat. Shout out to my boy Nemo Dash Digital. I see I like the animated video from before. I reacted to a Tupac animated video versus Nas, and y'all ran it up to 7 likes. So I did another one. Got 2 more coming right after this. This video is what happened when Tupac went up against an entire Chicago gang. We ain't gonna talk too much, so without further ado, we're gonna get straight into the video.
Celebrating the success of his album. At the time, his biggest songs were I Get Around and Keep Your Head Up. Also, he just released the song Proud Little Liquor on August 23rd, 1994. Tupac and his rap group, Thug Life, just finished their album, which was due to be released in a few weeks on September 26. It also just recently broke national news that an 11-year-old kid named Robert Sandiford, nicknamed Yummy, was murdered by his own fellow gang in his neighborhood. In short, Yummy was a kid in Chicago who was given orders to shoot and kill several rival gang members. Inspired by his peers, he then went on and shot several individuals, including a 14-year-old girl that tragically died. After Yummy went into hiding, the gang became upset with the attention received, and to avoid getting tied into the shootings, they decided to send 2 young teens who kidnapped the young boy and executed him. Yummy's story quickly made media headlines and front page news, including the front page of Time magazine. As told in his interviews and by his friends, at the time, Tupac was troubled by the news and did not like the thought of a kid being influenced by the gang, and held the community responsible for even creating a Yummy Sandiford. Just 2 days after Yummy's murder, with this frustration, Tupac was booked to perform in Milwaukee at the Mecca Arena, which is about 1 hour and 30 minutes driving distance from Chicago. Being fairly close to Chicago, according to other artists who performed earlier that night, said out of the 4,000 in attendance, the majority of the crowd was from Chicago, which included a lot of gang members who was excited to watch their favorite rappers perform, especially Tupac. Witnesses at the event, including one photographer named Raymond Boyd, who was actually front row, quoted in an article, after all the opening acts finished, it was Tupac's turn to perform, and the crowd was excited and pumped, chanting Tupac and Thug Life. Tupac stormed out performing his new song, Bury Me a G, from his upcoming group project. Immediately, Raymond noticed a more intense and angry Tupac while performing. Midway through the song, Tupac's mic started to fade in and out. While his group performed their verses on the song, he was trying to get his mic working. Once his mic was fixed, he called for a moment of silence to the little girl who was killed by Yummy. Before the moment of silence could even begin, Tupac immediately followed up, screaming into the mic, "You better stop killing those babies or else I'll murder you myself." With the crowd and everyone in the room taken aback and surprised, Tupac continued by telling the crowd, "I taught you all about harming those babies. Keep it up and I'll murder all of you." He then continued calling them cowards and busters. With the crowd full of now upset gang members realizing how serious Tupac was, and at the same time feeling disrespected, they started throwing pennies and coins at the stage. Which led Tupac to then shout to the crowd, "I don't know who the f y'all think I am. You motherfuckers better stop throwing shit at me." Next, Tupac took it to the next level, offering a $200 reward for anyone to bring an offender up to him on stage. And Tupac told the upset crowd, "He will get you paid, but he will die tonight." The upset gang members in the crowd started taunting Tupac and his entourage while throwing up gang signs, which Tupac replied, "You can flash them gang signs if you want, but I'll kill all you motherfuckers. This is Thug Life." Then he dared anyone to come on stage and try to beat him up. Immediately, the place erupted with objects being thrown back and forth from the stage and audience. As the gang-filled crowd started to storm the stage, Tupac grabbed the mic stand, swinging it around like a sword, daring people to rush him. Next, someone within Tupac's crew pulled out a red bag that they kept their guns in, which some stories claim Tupac then pulled out a gun and fired warning shots in the air in attempts to scare the gang members who were trying to get on stage. Police started entering the arena, and the Mecca security were guiding the terrified crowd out so they wouldn't get trampled. Most of the crowd, realizing they got a little more than they paid for, ran away in a panic, except the upset gang members who were still trying to rush the stage. At this point, realizing they were outnumbered, Tupac and his crew ran off stage, handed the bag of guns over to a getaway driver, who immediately left the arena. Now backstage, Tupac and his group had their dressing room kicked in and searched by the cops, but since no weapons were found, they were released. Realizing the upset mob was still outside trying to attack them, they immediately ran in their vehicles and sped off to a hotel booked in Chicago. The problem is, the upset gang members knew exactly where the hotel was and followed them. After arriving, the gang members trashed the hotel lobby looking for Tupac and attacked anyone in their way. According to rapper Scarface, who also performed earlier that night and was now with Tupac in the hotel, said on Sway in the Morning Show, Tupac wanted to confront the upset gang in the lobby, but luckily he calmed them down and convinced them to stay in the room, which was a smart choice considering the number of angry gang members looking to harm him. Eventually, the police showed up and removed the gang from the hotel premises, allowing Tupac and his Thug Life group to fly out the next morning safely. Yummy's murder and the conditions of the black community deeply affected Tupac to where it bled out in his messages and music, even mentioning Yummy in 2 of his songs, including White Man's World. We also recommend everyone to listen to his song Shorty Wanna Be a Thug, which depicts the trials of the black youth even still today in places like Chicago. It shows how much Tupac cared about his black communities and how he would stand up against anyone that could be perceived a detriment to the culture, even denouncing violent gangs in interviews. Even if it meant going against a crowd full of upset gang members, Tupac was up for the challenge for his people. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe.
Shout out to you. Shout out to you. Yo, I said it before in the previous video. If you actually do these animations yourself, shout out to you, because that's definitely dope. And I know it takes a lot of time. Definitely continue grinding. My heart goes out to the people in Chicago. Rest in peace to Tupac. Y'all get in the comment section down below. I appreciate y'all for all the love and support. Love is love, and I'm gonna catch y'all in the next video.